Hello Yugioh players and welcome to Yugioh and Business Casual. I'm your host, the RJB0. So today I'm going to start off my video on kind of a down note, which is a statement or a request or a piece of advice from me that stems from a long discussion I had at my locals Wednesday night. It's kind of a response to Mickey Vlogs, who recently made a video about kind of the state of the game and how terrible it is to try and take yourself seriously in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! And that statement is, if you struggle to enjoy playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, stop playing the game. I know, it sounds really bad, but in all reality, think about it. Chances are you're not being sponsored to go to competitive events or any events at all. The vast majority of players aren't. The vast majority of players lose money on the game, so there's a very, very small profit motive occasionally to stay in the game. But other than that, like, if you don't enjoy playing the game, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it. And I find myself talking about this because I live in the most notoriously terrible meta in the United States, which is the Pacific Northwest, specifically the Portland, Vancouver area. So my experience with the game is, first off, we have a lot of people quitting the game in the area. Fewer and fewer people are playing Yu-Gi-Oh! In Vancouver and Portland because we're losing both competitive and casual players. First off, we're losing a lot of casual players because we have a lot of players coming in who are supposedly competitive players, but just seem to absolutely hate the game and really don't enjoy playing it. They're really into the profit motive. They're kind of obsessive about being competitive, even on a local level. And the problem with trying to be competitive in our area is we don't really have a competitive scene. We get a regional once every 6 months that is within, human driving distance, and it's never fewer than 4 hours drive away. And other than that, like, we were excited that a YCS was coming to Vegas, because that's basically the closest competitive event we ever get, aside from our 2 Seattle regionals a year. And sometimes we are really lucky and get a regional, 2 regionals in that 6-month period, but they're always within 2 weeks of each other, and one of them is almost always at the very beginning of a format, which is just never a very good time to play if you're a competitive player. So I understand why competitive players are quitting in our area as well, and I'm sure that there are other places in the United States where that is equally a problem. So if you can't play competitively, which is what I like to do the most, you guys know that I'm a business casual player. I play the game for fun, but I feel like I'm having more fun when I'm playing on a higher level. And if I can't go out and play competitively, except, once a month, or once every 6 months rather, then playing competitively is kind of out of the cards for me. And we get a YCS, oh yeah, never. We've gotten one in Seattle. And that's it. That was the closest YCS we have ever had to Portland, and we got one of them. Like I said, we were excited when we found out that there was going to be a YCS in Vegas, because that was the closest we've gotten in more than a year. So competitive scene is a problem. People who are playing casually have issues with the game because A, it's becoming a faster game, which means these casual players who like to make crazy decks and stuff are having more issues, and more importantly, they're playing around a really bad environment with a bunch of competitive players who are grumpy about the game because they can't play competitively very often. So if you're in a situation like this, if you're noticing that people are not enjoying playing Yu-Gi-Oh, or more importantly, if you notice that you're not playing Yu-Gi-Oh and you're struggling to enjoy it, or that you're not enjoying playing Yu-Gi-Oh, if you have that issue, if you're a competitive player but you don't get the chance to play competitively, or you're just taking yourself way too seriously, do yourself a favor and do your locals a favor, do the players around you a favor, and just stop playing the game. Stop trying. If you have so much trouble enjoying the game, if you have to, like, retrain your brain to enjoy playing Yu-Gi-Oh, just quit. It's never going to get better. If you don't like the game now, then you're not going to like it ever again. You can keep up with things. You can keep following things, playing online, and maybe eventually we might get a regional in Portland. That would be nice. Or you might get, you know, a YCS in your area. Or you might just have nicer locals. And of course, you've probably got friends at your locals now, so they'll keep you updated. And from my perspective, this is kind of a bombshell that I'm dropping now. Unless I end up going to school at UC Berkeley or in a much better Yu-Gi-Oh meta than we are in now, I'm probably going to be done with the game by the end of the year. And the reason is because depending on where I go, there won't be a very good Yu-Gi-Oh meta. I won't be close to any competitive scenes, and I'll feel pretty isolated. And I play Yu-Gi-Oh as a social game. I play it to hang around people and have fun, and that's kind of how I play it. And if I'm in an area where not a lot of people play and I don't get a lot of competitive opportunities, then there's not a whole lot of point in my playing. Right now, this channel and hanging out with the people that at Dice Age Games that I really like and I like playing against, and the possibility that I might get to go to a Seattle regional in March is kind of what's keeping me playing the game. So that's just kind of a heads up there. But yeah, so this is kind of a downer video. I'll have more fun things in the near future, including my first economic principles video. Meanwhile, I hope you guys like this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't, let me know why, of course, in the comments section below, and discuss whether you guys think it's really worth trying to play competitively in an area where you don't have much of a competitive scene. And then, of course, subscribe for more Dex discussion, Dex discussion, analysis, and general Yu-Gi-Oh shenanigans. One of these days, I'll get that thing right. Meanwhile, thank you guys for watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Business Casual. I'm your host, the RJB0, and I got a jet. See you guys.